Since the Pope exists in the Cars universe, Car Jesus must have existed. What kind of car do you think he would have been? El Camino. Stay with me here. Son of a carpenter. What would a carpenter drive? A truck. The Sun. Smaller truck. Widely misunderstood and railed against by the powers that be of the time, but have a devoted following to this day. Google Translate tells me that El Camino translates to the way. Jesus said, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. He's already told you he's an El Camino. I laughed as soon as I read El Camino, but having read the rest of your comment it turns out you're entirely right. So I guess I owe you an apology. I'm truly sorry for my early judgment and I fully accept that Cars universe Jesus is an El Camino. Edit. I've been made aware of some different ideas as to Jesus and Joseph's profession. So imagine he was a cart for lumber or stones, or perhaps a cart to carry important artifacts in and out of the temple. We don't know how the Cars characters are born, but we do know that older characters are older models. For example, Liz is way old. Doc Hornet is an older race car. Mater is an older truck. Is it possible that Jesus, a carpenter's son, could have been a lumber cart? Well, Caesar might have been a chariot. So Judas's chariot. That old car your family owned, that you're surprised lasts for more than 15 years and 200,000 miles. People also argue about the color of it. I can smell this car. C.H.R.S.T. Le. Judged by Honda Pontius Pilot. He drove a Honda Accord. Everyone knows this. Everyone knows Jesus and his disciples went around in one Accord. Must have been packed in there. Hold up. So, if cars are built at the car's birth, then is the Pope mobile constructed at birth? No cardinal car vote, and the Cars Catholic Church universe overseen by an inexperienced Pope. Oregon is the Pope voted on by other cardinal cars, and then brutally chopped up into a Pope mobile? There's a Cars deleted scene where Lightning has a dream about his engine being put into a steamroller's body and Mater's engine being put into his, resulting in a bizarre body switch. Perhaps this is not so much dream logic as a real world procedure. There's a hole in each wheel, but they are not flat. Can also drive on water and turn water into petrol. A beat up old tractor with a mismatched color door and rust all over the bumper. But in all of the imagery and iconography, he's portrayed as a pristine, white sedan. Tractors are cows in the Cars universe. A crossover. Badum TSSS. Model. A black/brown one as well, but all the pictures of him will be white. Jesus was a Prius. Hated by most, has a solid following. Those with money only use it to their advantage, until they can get something better. I'd imagine he'd be a 3-in-1, gas, electric and solar powered, to represent the Father, the Son and the Holy Ghost. Nazi. This certainly is the car of the King of Kings. Climbs into the driver's seat of an old Fugo and just straight up bursts into flames. King Arthur, you have chosen poorly. Apostrophe. Aside, in the movie Planes one of the characters fought in WW2, which means there was a Cars Hitler. Obviously he was a hovercraft, and therefore, full of deals. In all honesty, probably a pickup truck. Not too fancy or showy, but perfectly functional. His life was devoted to teaching and helping others, so it's the perfect vehicle to do so. He was also a carpenter, so pretty blue collar. A pickup truck would have been a good fit. A Toyota Hilux, because it just won't stay dead. YouTube. I have only ever held the title for 2 vehicles in my life 38 years of existence. One was a 93 extended cab pickup, Hilux, just not labeled as such in the States, and a 02 Tacoma, the successor to the Hilux. I still own and drive the 02, bought new, and I'm confident that the 93 is still poking around somewhere out there. My older brother was gifted our grandfather's 70s model Hilux that sat under an oak tree for probably longer than we had been alive at the time. Tires rotted out from under it, and dirt daubers had claimed the entirety of the engine compartment as their kingdom. Cleaned out the engine bay, carb, flushed/replaced fluids, gas tank drain and flush, and replaced spark plugs/wiring. It cranked in the first round of tries. And I proceeded to clutch dump it into the garage door on accident as a 14 years old. I'm definitely biased in favor of Toyota trucks. Edit. I now know the correct spelling of Dauber. Lol. 1983 Toyota Tercel will seemingly die on a Friday after you've arrived safely home, but will inexplicably start again on Monday, so you can drive to work. Can confirm. Strangely immortal car, that one. My friend has one that's still running in 2020. Well, there must have been a car Charlemagne, car Joan of Arc, car Henry VIII, car George Washington, car Hitler, etc. There was absolutely a car WWII, as I believe the military jeep refers to it, meaning there was a car Holocaust, Pearl Harbor, D-Day, and Ticonderoga dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Given the VW minibus's mannerisms as well, it could be reasoned that there was also a car Vietnam War, as well as a car counterculture, that arose from it. A hippie van. He spent his time traveling and teaching peace, and love to people. So the mystery machine? I'm pretty sure every character in that universe is supposed to be immortal considering they can't build more cars by themselves, and the cars in that universe have bio components that keep them from breaking down. Hudson Hornet though. I don't know about Drove, but Jesus definitely built my hot rod. It was a love affair, mainly Jesus. And my hot rod. Myatta is always the answer, probably an NC, since he could walk on water and the NC is the boat. A Chevy. They die and are brought back to life all the time. All I know is he died for our spins. The most normal car imaginable. He'd be a 2008 4-door Honda Civic with the dark grey paint job. Oh my god, my brother totaled Jesus a few years ago. The electric car. It was born, gave people hope, was killed, and now it is rising again. A Volkswagen Beetle. VW Beetles exist in the Cars universe. That means there was a car Hitler and Holocaust. A carriage. But instead of walking on water, car Jesus rode without horses. A Flintstones TARDIS. Since older characters are older models, this makes sense, lol. In the Bible Jesus had a Honda, but he didn't like to talk about it. It says the apostles were all in one accord, but later on Jesus says I did not speak of my own accord. Moses had a British motorcycle. The sound of Moses' triumph echoed through the hills. A lot of the biblical patriarchs were fond of hot rods. Moses had a rod, and Aaron had a rod, and in Psalm 23 it says thy rod comfort me. God himself has a Plymouth. He drove Adam and Eve out of the garden in a fury. He would always be pictured as a white car, even though he was actually a brown car. Whatever the model, it would have been brown and depicted white. A Chrysler. In the Bible, it says he had a Honda. John 13:49 I do not speak of my own accord. I would say a Lambo. They started as a tractor company, humble beginnings, but it was reborn as something really special and changed the future as we know it. One of those concept cars that was never really made. A hovercraft, so he can drive on water. Obviously my wife's previous car, a 2006 Land Rover LR3. Every time they gave me a repair bill I said, Jesus Christ, and I prayed every time a light on the dashboard came on, that it would go away. Not a Honda Accord, for he never spoke of his own accord. Obviously a Lamborghini Miura. What car had more impact on revolutionizing the design of future cars than the Miura? What's a more perfect specimen? Dacia Sandero. A carpenter. One word. Thunder Cougar Falconbird. Maybe a bit too literal of a response, but the manufacturer Mazda got their name from Ahura Mazda, which is essentially the highest god in Zoroastrianism, which is an ancient religion. So not Christianity like the question poses, but still somewhat related. He was said to be a normal chariot like everyone else in those times. If you think that a man with long hair who wore sandals was anything other than a Subaru Outback, you're a dumber. Probably a wagon and horse style thing. You mean a sweet chariot. Man duck car Jesus. I'm more interested in car crusaders with car swords and the car Borgias. Which means at one point car Pope Alexander was having wild car sex with his car nieces. This also means apart from there was a car crusader car genocide car infanticide car residential schools car witch trials. We need an entire movie on the history of Catholicism. Are you kidding, he was Mater? r/AskReddit only ever posts about sex. Sex of sexy. What sexy sex sexy sex? Jesus was a carpenter, so F-150. My mind went to the same place, but even an F-150 feels too fancy. I'd go 8's-year a Mazda B2000. Small, honest, and humble. Chrysler. All other answers are wrong. A brown one. Love. It's what makes a Subaru. Probably an old Subaru wagon. It's the standard car for dirty hippies. And they come with the coexist sticker from the factory. The Papermobile. Perhaps, the Papermobile is simply the body of the original car Jesus, and the car cardinals transplant the engine of the chosen cardinal into the car Jesus frame every time a new pope is elected. Of course it might not be the actual body of car Jesus. Thanks to that time there were 3 Papermobiles driving around. Some say that the original Papermobile was destroyed while the French were holding it in a car park in Avignon. But the faithful still believe. Definitely a Fiat. Specifically the Lux model. BTW. Fiat Lux is Latin for let there be light. Toyota Tercel. Even when you think it's dead, it still comes back to life. Astrovan. Maybe a motorcycle who died on the motocross? Jeepsus. More interesting Q. What miracles would he have performed? He turned water into oil, cured lepers of eye rust, made a paralyzed car drive again by fixing his seized engine, and of course, showed his amphibious features off by driving onto the water. An old beat up Ford E350, the car of a carpenter. A Ford F-150 Raptor, because nothing saying loving God more than horsepower and guns. Amphica 770, the first commercial amphibious car. Jesus said that all the disciples were of one accord, so probably a Honda Accord. In the film, you can hear Max say thank the manufacturer when he finds McQueen. This is obviously the car's version of thank the Lord. This means the manufacturer is God. He was some type of Chrysler. At the end of the credits of Cars, Mini, and Van, the 2 vans that wandered into Radiator Springs looking for the interstate are still lost in the desert. Mini makes the comment, "Oh, for the love of Chrysler, can we please ask someone for directions?" Honda Accord John 12:49 For I did not speak of my own accord. A Chrysler. You did it. You won. No idea, but in America he would be a white Ford F-150. Because he tried to carry all our sins, but then broke down almost immediately. Something amphibious. Second-hand Toyota Corolla. A Chrysler. Jesus was a woody, chill relax car with a lot of wood panels for a carpenter. Ford Chrysler. He was a brown VW microbus, but Americans like to paint him as a bigger white Dodge Ram with a duck in Hemi baby. Woo. A Chrysler. I'll see myself out. A Crosstruck. Get it? Because he had to carry the yay, I'll just see myself out. A VW microbus with flowers and paisleys all over it, and a halo that Jesus has to be careful of when going through drive-ups. Here's a VW bus, the symbol from a period of peace and love. A humble vehicle where all are welcome. Citroën CV or the original Beetle, both in a kind of brown beige. Oh my, you watched until the end? That's fucking awesome, dude. Thanks for watching.